How's it going, folks? It is Matt back with another crypto video, and today's a quick update on Cardano. It's been about a week now since my last Cardano update, so I figured it was well overdue. A look at some of the information we'll be covering today. There are 4 new startups that will be built on the Cardano blockchain. They are HelixWorks, Catallact, Tesseract, and Simpo. We'll take a look at all 4 of these new projects coming to Cardano. We'll take a look at what Charles Hoskinson said about plans to launch a new Cardano roadmap, and we'll in this video talking about the new JP Morgan coin, and I'll give my thoughts on that. And yes, I do think it is a direct threat to XRP. That being said, as always, if you enjoy this video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell to get notifications, like it, share it, leave a comment, and let's get right to it. So these 4 new projects that are being built on Cardano's ecosystem. This is coming from Dlabs and EMURGO, and they're also using SOSV's investment consortium. Basically, well, first we'll take a look at what Dlabs is exactly. Dlabs is an incubation and acceleration arm of the Indian School of Business, the ISB, in collaboration with the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. They aim to support the creation of vibrant and high-impact entrepreneurial ecosystem focused on innovation in key sectors including technology, commercialization, and Dlabs leverages a vast resources, expertise, and networks for the Center of Innovation and Entrepreneurship at ISB through mentorship, education, and investor connection. So let's take a look at, that's kind of what Dlabs is, and there's 4 projects that they're helping accelerate on the Cardano blockchain. It's going to run over a span of 14 weeks, which I find that time frame interesting. Is due 14 weeks from now, I guess, would be sometime in May, which is kind of just outside of Q1 of this year, and really it's Q1 of this year that we're expecting the Shelley update, or at least part of the release of Shelley for Cardano, which will help solve the issues of scalability. So it makes sense that these projects are expected to be complete sometime after the release of Shelley. You know, if Shelley is released sometime toward the end of this quarter, then it would make sense for dApps or you know, other applications to be built on Cardano's blockchain after the issues of scalability have been resolved, because we don't want a scenario such as CryptoKitties where just a small amount of people starting to use it and get excited about it caused Ethereum to basically crash. So a look at the 4 projects being built, one being HelixWorks. It's a proprietary MOSS technology. They are where they will amalgamate DNA-based ID tags to physical goods. And that's basically a very fancy word. It means to unite and form one organization of structures. So basically they're going to tag goods, probably produce. I saw medicine being one of the things they can track. Put a DNA-based tag on it so you can prove its legitimacy and authenticity. You know, there is an issue with fake medications being spread around the world, especially in areas of the world that have smaller incomes. And HelixWorks looks to solve that issue with these DNA-based ID tags. Second project being Catallact. They are a blockchain analytics engine that's primary focuses on the finance industry, targeting on market intelligence and regulatory compliance. Third being Tesseract, an upcoming firm that is standardizing and streamlining the way applications primarily interact with blockchains. They aim to make sense of those interactions as convenient while connecting with the internet. Project number 4 being Simpo, to assist aid organizations to dispense relief funds directly to individuals in crisis to enable them to buy what they need immediately. So we'll take a look at all 4 of these websites that have come out. And just a quick side note, when I read Tesseract, you know, I kept thinking in my mind that I'd heard that before somewhere. So if you're thinking the same thing, Tesseract is this blue cube thing from the movie Thor that Loki continued to keep stealing. Anyway, I find it interesting that Tesseract also used the cube as their logo as well. Maybe they were inspired by this. Just my thought. So this is the website for HelixWorks. It is very blank at the moment. You know, I expect over the next 14 weeks for them to kind of populate this with some more information. But again, HelixWorks is looking to add a DNA tag to goods just to track their progress through the supply chain, through logistics, so we can identify its source, where it's been, and ultimately verify its authenticity. This is a look at Catallact's website. Again, it is looking very blank at the moment, and they are going to be a blockchain analytics engine for the finance industry focused on market intelligence and regulatory compliance. Tesseract, their website is definitely more put together than these first two. Basically, they're looking to streamline and kind of create an industry standard for communication between apps and the blockchain. And that goes for dApps as well as regular applications that we're using today that are not decentralized applications. So it's good to see these types of communications being built so that it is easy for people to start using cryptocurrency. They're saying an open standard of communication between the wallets and applications can be implemented by any wallet application or hardware wallet to enable interaction with the blockchain or crypto payments applications. So I kind of see this, maybe this could be used as a stepping stone, like for a non-dApp, just a regular app for gaming. Maybe they could start to add cryptocurrency into those regular application games with the help of Tesseract. So last project being built is Simpo, which they are looking to allow people to send relief to people struck by disaster. They'll be able to send the relief directly to the individuals that need it, instead of going through such as the Red Cross or other organizations that accept donations to help these. As is seen here, 70% of Syrian refugees have sold the aid they were given in order to buy what they actually need. So, if people are donating money to the Red Cross, one, they have to decide what they think these people need, then they have to buy it for them, and then they have to figure out the logistics to get it there to them, where we can eliminate these middlemen and simply give the Syrian refugees the money they need, and then they can spend it on the goods that they actually need. I've heard a story of someone that I personally know went to Haiti, as part of like a missionary group, and when they arrived there, they noticed that there were a bunch of greenhouses that were not being used at all, and these greenhouses were set up by the Red Cross, shortly after the tsunami or something that happened some time back. But the point being is the Red Cross used all of this funding that they were giving, built these greenhouses, and then the Haitians never used the greenhouses. Not because they didn't want to grow food, but because there was no irrigation. They spent all this money to build these greenhouses, and then there was no way to irrigate the crops, meaning they couldn't even use them. So what ended up happening is the Haitians took all the tarps and all the roofs of these structures and used them to build their own houses. So that's an example of how we could better spend our money by sending it directly to the people that need it. We're not going to build a greenhouse that they can't use. Instead, we'll just give them money and they can buy the foods and services that they need, or better yet, build an irrigation system so that they could grow their own crops. I see this type of technology of eliminating the middlemen, and really that goes to say for blockchain in general, is eliminating the middlemen and better allocating and better spending the funds that the people are giving. So I also find it interesting, I was talking about Dlabs. Dlabs is kind of helping accelerate programs being built on Cardano's blockchain, and that's very similar to Y2X that I reported on not that long ago. Y2X is set to invest in and incubate projects that will ultimately build their products on top of Cardano's blockchain. So this is now two different companies that are looking to build very legit projects on top of Cardano's blockchain. So I'm definitely excited to keep seeing companies such as HelixWorks, Catallact, Tesseract, and Simpo start to be built on Cardano's blockchain and start getting some use out of it. But again, I don't think these projects are going to start launching or being released until after Q1 or until after we see the release of Shelley and the solving of the scalability issues and decentralization issues that plague most of the projects out there on the space. So moving to this last article that I have, Cardano announces plans to launch a new roadmap, and I think by highlighting that title I just unhighlighted the one paragraph of this article that I actually wanted to read. I think it's right here. So let's see if I can find it. So Charles Hoskinson, Cardano CEO, is expected to give a keynote speech during IOHK Summit to be held in Miami. In his speech, he will outline the new roadmap for the project's vision of 2020. The relaunch of the roadmap, according to the publication, will see the project take key focus on milestones. So this article didn't provide a date. You know, it says that we'll get this expected update during the conference held in Miami, so I did some digging on my own. The IOHK Summit of 2019 held in Miami will be the 17th through the 18th of April of 2019, which means 2 months from now. So we have to wait. This story is breaking the news that we're going to get an update on the roadmap, but we have to wait 2 months to get that update. It seems like a long time. You know, if Shelley has not been released by this time, you know, this announcement of the roadmap could become bad news if Shelley gets pushed back another quarter or another 2 quarters. But, you know, if Shelley is released before this, maybe the roadmap can be kind of expedited or shortened, because as it points out, you know, the original roadmap has funding for Cardano up through 2020, which is rapidly approaching. You know, it's just toward the end of this year is 2020. So hopefully the roadmap, the updated roadmap will be positive. Hopefully it'll keep all these major keystone developments either on time or finishing a little bit earlier. You know, time will tell. We got to wait 2 months for this update to happen. So last bit of news, the JP Morgan coin, it is saying, you know, as this article saying, a direct threat to Ripple XRP. You know, kind of, because XRP was kind of intended to assist the legacy banking system in forming or in performing, I guess, cross-border payments and remittance payments much faster than the traditional system. But now JP Morgan has struck back and come out with their own coin, the JPM. So it basically makes XRP useless, because JPM can do the exact same thing that XRP was doing, is making the transaction time drastically faster than it was before, and ultimately cheaper. You know, but I do not think this is a bad thing. I think it's a good thing, actually, that the JP Morgan coin is coming out. You know, I personally, you know, I might not buy the coin. It is a stable coin. It's a bank coin, but you know, it's JP Morgan. It's a massive bank that has a massive user base, and it's getting cryptocurrency in the face of all of their users. You know, everyone that is banking with JP Morgan or Chase is now, you know, hearing about JPM and the cryptocurrency, and they hear about all the benefits that it has to offer. Yes, the coin is backed by the US dollar. Yes, that's not necessarily a good thing if you are, you know, interested in cryptocurrency and blockchain technology, but long term, it's a fantastic thing. You know, here in the short term, like I said, it's just getting the awareness of cryptocurrency and the benefits it can offer into the public consciousness, and that's a fantastic thing. And you know, it stands a chance to be successful, and but that success ends when, I guess, the US dollar collapses. You know, the JPM is backed by the US dollar, meaning it only has value as long as the US dollar is valuable. And whether that continues on for the rest of history, you know, it remains to be seen. You know, I have my own doubts. You know, 20-some trillion in debt. You know, just looking at the whole economic state of the whole world, the legacy system is kind of a debt-based system. It's not a good system. So, you know, I think JP Morgan initially, it's going to be fantastic for, like I said, driving the awareness of cryptocurrency into the public consciousness if they are not already aware. You know, again, only 1% of the world is invested in this space. But once they get familiar with the technology, a couple years down the road, you know, who knows, maybe the US dollar may not be the most valuable currency in the world anymore. So that will wrap up today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell to get notifications, like it, share it, leave a comment, and I'll see you guys later.